Okay, so in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can scale a coaching offer, a brand new coaching offer, $200,000 per month from completely scratch with no connections, no followers, no referrals, simply just with using a system that I developed over the last 5 months that is consistently working for coaches. We were able to help this coach at just over 19 calls in 20 days using this exact same framework. So let's jump right into it so I can show you how it works. How to start and scale a coaching offer to $100,000 per month from complete scratch, right? So you don't need to have millions of followers. You don't need anything like that. You literally just need to have the system that I'm about to show you. So I'm going to show you how to do this without having hundreds of thousands of followers, without having any scaling experience, and without having any connections. And you might seem like, Chris, how do you even do that? Well, I'm going to show you. Don't you worry. But first, why the hell should you listen to me, right? Well, I've been a part of the biggest content and info teams in the entire world, and I've generated millions of views and millions of dollars in info revenue. I've probably made videos for people who you watch all the time, right? And here's some proof. As you can see, 159k views, 130k views, 21k views, 204k views, 57k views, 155k views, and 42k views. For this client alone over here, we helped generate over 6 figures organically. And over here, we helped just generate over $428,000 for this client as well. Now, these people did have a following, and I'm not going to lie to you about that. So I developed a system that works for people without having a following. I mean that if you have 500 followers plus, you can make money using this system. A system that helped a musician coach 3x their coaching offer in around 3 weeks. And I'll show you, see right here. As you can see, cool, 7 booked calls for those submissions, not bad. 12 calls booked this week were moving. So just over 19 calls in around 20 days using this system, right? And that's how good this system actually works. And that was honestly last month's revenue, and this will 100% do 3x. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it too. So let's get right into it. So as you can see, I have a lot of stuff here for you. So it's going to be a long video, but let me just show you everything that I've laid out. So the first thing you want to start off with is your offer, right? If you had no offer, you don't have anything to sell. So the offer is the first thing that you need to start with. Before you even make an offer, you need to know the following, right? What your niche is, so who are you targeting, the problem that your niche is facing, and the solution that you provide to the market, right? And as you can see here, the target market is your niche. The problem is what your niche's problems are, and choose the one that you can solve, and then your solution is a unique way to solve it in that niche, right? So here's an example. If you're a fitness coach, your niche is dads over 40. The problem that they face is they're too busy with work and acknowledge how to lose weight. And the solution is a developed system that allows you to eat good food and still lose weight, right? So that is a very, very, very good one. Then you need to optimize your offer for high ticket. And essentially that comes down to 3 things. A lot of the times when I get people come on board as my clients, they generally don't know how to package the offer and think that they can't charge enough. And I completely tell them that you are there for your time and expertise, and you can literally charge whatever you want. So I would say that you would price your offer anywhere between 3K and sometimes even 20K, right? It depends on what your deliverables are, but that is something that you can do. And it comes down to these 3 steps, right? So step 1 is transformation and target audience. Step 2 is shift from low ticket or hourly to premium fixed outcome offer. And step 3 is define what makes your approach unique, and it's essentially your secret sauce. So I'm going to break this down really, really in depth. So make sure that while I'm doing this, you actually go ahead and start building out your offer so that it makes a little bit more sense. So essentially, here's the breakdown. Step 1 is transformation and target audience, right? So I've laid out some stuff here for you guys to read. Essentially, you need to use this framework. I help specific person overcome pain by leveraging mechanism in time frame, right? So I help dads over 40 lose 20 pounds and regain energy by implementing a sustainable fitness nutrition system in just under 90 days. So as you can see, here's a specific person. This is the pain point. This is the system. And then this is the time frame. So you're going to identify, right? Who are you targeting? So you're targeting dads over 40, working professionals, struggling with energy, belly fat, and struggle with time, right? And then what result do they want? What result does your client, your ICP, your ideal customer profile actually want? Well, they want to be leaner, they want to be energized, and they want to be confident again. And then what pain are they feeling? Well, years of neglect, no time for gym, low testosterone, tired of quick fixes, fad diets. If you're doing an offer that involves money, like a monetary gain, tried a bunch of things that didn't work, is at thousands of dollars in debt, is struggling making money online, has shiny object syndrome. Like these things are something that your ICP would be feeding, right? And essentially, you need to define these things before you move on to anything so that you know who exactly you're actually making an offer for, right? And then step 2 is you're going to shift from your low ticket or hourly. So a lot of things that I see with people in the coaching space, especially life coaches and fitness coaches, is they sell sessions for $250 an hour, right? So yeah, this is good, right? But this is once off, and it gives your client no value, right? You'll see that people who charge like $3,000 more, get the best results. And that's because when people put more money into a program or something like that, they're going to naturally be more invested into it and they're going to be way more into it. They're going to implement fast. They're going to actually do the things that you tell them to do. If you're charging them $250, that's like nothing. Like they don't actually care. So when it's $3K and up, they're going to care. So that's why people who charge more, I've seen people who charge $10K and have the best client results because they're charging so much. So you need to shift from sessions or cookie cutter plans. So this is a big thing that I see is cookie cutter plans. So trying to make a one size fits all program is not going to help you get a lot of clients because nothing is one size fits all. When I work with my clients, it's not one size fits all. I come in, we have an implementation that is we can like reuse, but we have to apply it to their situation. If you don't apply your systems or whatever you're doing to the situation, then how are you going to get anyone results? You're not going to be able to. And that is the whole problem with the coaching industry right now. It's just cookies. Like there's just a bunch of cookies everywhere and then they're just multiplying it between all their clients. And you just can't do that nowadays. People need to feel like they're heard. They need to feel like it's made for them. So you need to make sure that the cookie cutter plans are gone. So you need to turn into a signature 12 to 16 week transformation program. The biggest thing I say is that when you're in info or in coaching, which is info anyway, you aren't in these industries. You're in the transformation industry. You're there to transform someone from X to Y. So keep that in mind when you're creating this offer. Make sure that you can transform someone. So what does a delivery look like? So here's an example program, right? So your price is 2 to 5K. Delivery is weekly one-on-one Zoom calls, and I can't stress how important this is, right? Please don't set an offer for 3 to 20K and not do weekly one-on-ones. If you don't do weekly one-on-ones, the value will drop dramatically because people will feel like you got them on board and now they don't get to talk to you. Especially with fitness coaching, info, I've seen it a little bit different, but especially with coaching, right? If you're getting people on, have weekly one-on-ones with them, right? It's not going to take a lot of time out of your day and you can do it, okay? Trust me, the results that we've seen just from making this one shift rather than just having people do chats on Slack and then also having one-on-one Zooms has dramatically increased performance from the clients itself. So again, personalized training and nutrition apps. So this again is for a fitness coach, accountability and systems. So what are the outcomes? So you need to write down what the outcomes are. Well, you need to rebuild strength and energy. You need to optimize your hormones naturally and you need to drop 15 pounds sustainably and create a long-term routine that fits around work, family, life, right? You need to make sure that your outcomes sustain a high value, right? So for a fitness coach, it's very, very easy. You aren't just selling them weight loss. You're selling them a longer life. You're selling them happier living. You're selling them confidence. That is what you're selling them. That is what you're trying to transform them into. So you need to keep that in mind when you're making this offer. Okay, and the next is step 3, which you need to define what makes your approach unique. Now, again, you don't need to make your approach like something brand new that no one's ever done. You just need to bring it in a unique way to the market with a unique mechanism, right? So highlight what makes your method unique to Dads Over 40, right? So an example is Dad Fit Over 40 protocol or energy reboot system, T40 method, meaning testosterone training and time management. And you're emphasizing on tailored to hormonal shifts and recovery needs for 40-year-olds. Focus on sustainability and crash diets versus crash dieting, and then includes mindset and scheduling for dads, right? So essentially what you're delivering to the market, if you want to have a really good offer that's better than the rest of the market, right? Your deliverables and what you're adding into the system and the mechanism name is very important, right? Okay, of course, this name isn't like end all be all, but it needs to have some sort of purpose in the name. Like T40 is a very, very good purpose name because it's delivering all of these results over to this name. So you just want to make sure that obviously your either one-on-one is a very big deliverability that I would say implement now, right? That is probably the main thing that I would say you need to add. If there's anything else you think you can add it. Like just do it because the more effort you're going to put into it, it's going to pay off. Okay. So make sure you keep this in mind, implement what I'm telling you and actually do it. Now we can move into the communication platforms, right? So these are pretty important. There's basically 2 that you can use. There's more, but I would say these are the main 2 is Discord and Slack. I would say Slack is more professional. It's a little bit easier to use and might be very familiar to a lot more people. You can go ahead and use Discord. It really doesn't matter. Just choose one but they both work with any Zapier automations. So just use them, right? And then you want to just have the channel name laid out like this, one-on-one dash name. So let's say you get on someone named Lisa, it would be one-on-one Lisa, right? That's literally essentially all you would do. And that's literally it. There's nothing else that you can add on to that. Super simple, super easy. The content asset system. So obviously, right, you aren't just going to be doing one-on-one calls, right? You're going to be having one-on-one calls plus one-on-one communication, plus you're going to have content assets, plus you're going to have reviewing, plus, right? This is all the stuff that needs to go into a good offer, right? And where you can host the stuff is either on Notion or on Kajabi, right? Kajabi you have to pay for. Notion is cheaper. I think you do have to pay for Notion. Our client recently did have to pay for Notion. So you have to pay for both of them. Choose who you want. It really doesn't matter. Kajabi can drip down the videos for you. So essentially is that only if they watch this video, then they get the next video. Notion doesn't do that, but Notion's a little bit easier and doesn't feel like a course. So it really is completely up to you, right? And then this is a very, very important one, right? This is the best coaching payment process, right? So if you're using Stripe, if you're using SimplePay, if you're using anything that isn't this processor, I would suggest you right now to go ahead and use it, right? And that's Fanbasis. So Fanbasis is a processor made for coaches and creators by coaches and creators, right? So a guy named Jacob Levrand, who is a coach, created this because Stripe has insane restriction things with coaches right now. So using Fanbasis is a game changer because not only one, their UI is amazing. Second of all, it's super easy to use. They have all the Klarna and Zap payment structures, as well as you can do subscriptions. And you can they also have Zapier integrated right into the platform. And on top of that, they have 2-day payouts, right? So you get paid 2 days later, the money comes into your account. That is how cool it is. So if you want to get lower fees with Fanbasis, click on the link below, sign up, and then you'll get added to a WhatsApp group where they will, you book a call with them. They'll show you how everything works. And if you want less transaction fees, I would suggest moving over to this. And this is exactly how you can create a killer offer that gets you better clients and better client results. This is the exact same system we use with every single client that comes on board. We just recently did this with a client and their offer is absolutely amazing. So I'll just make sure to take into account what I said. Value is everything. Value nowadays with coaching needs to go above and beyond. And if you aren't, then you're making a great mistake. So make sure that you are doing that. Okay, next is the most important part of this whole system, right? It's the content. Now, inherently, content doesn't mean, right? Content doesn't mean business, right? It doesn't always mean that, but content itself is very important for trust and for people to like you. Okay, there's a saying that you need to have 7 hours of content. It's a Google thing. 11 touch points and something else, but 7 hours of content that they need to watch before they even get on a call with you. So having content online is super important, and it's something you need to do right now. So I'm going to show you how we do it, what we implement for our clients, and you can go ahead and implement it. So whether you like it or not, content is important, but you don't need to get views and results like this. You don't need 40,000 views. This isn't needed. I've helped people who have like 1,000 subscribers or even less, 500, 200, 300, and we've brought in clients from the YouTube just organically. So I'm just trying to show you that you don't need to get views like this, right? So what is actually needed? Well, you need these two simple platforms, right? You need Instagram and YouTube. That is it, right? TikTok and email is a very nice addition, but we usually leave those for larger following people, mainly because it's much easier, because TikTok is like a traffic machine, but it's not mandatory, right? And I'll bring up an example with you. We just brought on a coach, right? And he has only around 2K followers on Instagram, but he also has 2K followers on email. So that's something that we can use to our advantage, right? So if you don't have 2K followers, you can definitely go ahead and start building your email, but it's not needed, right? You don't need to have that. So let me take you through Instagram, right? So this is a very, very, very important funnel that you need to use in order to bring eyeballs onto your account and then nurture them to actually become people who pay you. This is what I call the profile visit ad funnel. This brings people into the ecosystem and nurtures them forward, right? So people come into the funnel with a profile visit ad. So this is what I say, eyeballs. And then from there, they see all of this. So this is all nurture content. As you can see here, nurturing new people in the funnel, right? So it's Instagram posts, IG Reels, and stories. So posts, you want to make sure you do at least one of these a week. Reels, I would say 3 or 4 a week. And then stories, I would say at least once per day. Call out stories, value stories, stories. And this basically just nurtures people, makes them see all your content, makes them see your lifestyle. It also humanizes you. Just make sure that you have all these things in place. Start doing them now if you haven't. And then you would move into DM appointment setting. So you would use this when someone follows you, you reach out to them to offer value. And then when someone DMs you with a CTA, you use something else. I'm going to show you how to do that just in this next system over here, right? So what's going to happen is when people see all of this, right, around 3% of people are going to want to buy. So 3% of people are ready to pay for whatever you're offering, but 95 to 97% of people need more nurturing. So when someone comes into your DMs, right, and you can see that they aren't ready. So the 3% will probably be the people who DM you the CTA in your bio, right? But the people who don't do that are people that need new nurturing. So what you can do is in the DMs, you push them to YouTube. Right? You would push them to YouTube, and then from there, they would probably circle back around to your Instagram. Okay, maybe watch some Instagram reels, and then from there, they'd probably like DM you, ask you some questions. You push them to another YouTube video. They come back to Instagram, and this essentially just goes on until they're ready to buy you. buy from you, right? So this is just nurturing. So the more nurturing someone goes through, the easier it is to sell them. So this is very, very important. So what kind of nurture assets can we use? Well, we can use free videos. So this is the best YouTube video, free guides, a VSL, and a client testimonials. So these are very, very important nurture systems that we can send over to them that actually generate very, very good results. Now, let me move into the second and one of the most important parts of this entire system, right? So that's YouTube, right? So I'm going to explain to you the entire YouTube funnel that we have implemented and what the exact YouTube funnel that generated $428,000 for that person over there. So I'm going to show you how it works, right? So the YouTube sales funnel explanation. So you want to be posting top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content. So the top of funnel content, similar to the IG profile visit ads, is responsible for bringing in new people into the funnel for them to be nurtured. So what brings in more eyeballs? Well, that would be lifestyle content, days in the life, behind the scenes, and full courses and guides. These bring in eyeballs onto your account for people who may not know you. These will perform better than every other video on your channel and will probably be the reason why you get more subscribers, right? Then you want to be pushing out middle of funnel content. So similarly to the reels and the stories above, this is responsible for nurturing viewers and getting them to see your knowledge, expertise on the topic, right? So what is this going to, what can we do to actually make them see that we know what we're talking about? Well, we can post niche specific content, how-to videos, tutorials, educational videos, right? So these videos prove your expertise. You target the specific middle of funnel content, the niche content that people would want to know. And then they are like, oh my word, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And then at the end of these, you usually actually CTA to the bottom of funnel, right? So this finally converts them. They know you, they trust you, they're warm, and this pushes them to book a call. So essentially, this is your client testimonials, client case studies, your personal case studies. So let's say you were, making 10K and you were able to make 50K in 16 weeks with your own developed system, right? Just for instance. And then you include hard CTAs to book a call, right? So you can either push them to book a call from YT, or you can push them to follow you on Instagram and then DMD there. This as an extra step, right? So just like with something like email marketing, when a pop-up comes up and people have to complete it, it's higher submission rates. Okay, that's just something I picked up from my own email marketing agency that I used to run. And then it's the same thing with this. So if someone is on YouTube, okay, and they really, really are interested, right? And they go to Instagram. This just increases the steps it takes for them to actually, there's the calendar, book a call, right? So usually it could just be like YouTube, then book a call, which works fine as well. I mean, this is also might be less resistance, but this is just what I call a pre-qualification step. So people, they watch your YouTube and then are like, okay, I actually want to do this. I don't do this, but you can. It's just something that adds an extra step that we're testing out and is pretty interesting, I think. So that's just an extra implementation step that you can add. So this is the entire content ecosystem. Obviously, there's other things like retargeting ads that we also run for after your profile visit ads. And then there's also like emails that we can run. And there's also like direct to VSL ads that we can run, VSL landing pages. So there's a bunch of stuff that goes into this, but I'm talking about people who have 500 followers on Instagram, right? This is what works. Okay. This is what works for me as well, because I have 500 subscribers on Instagram. It's the same thing. So now, step 3 is client getting, right? So essentially appointment setting. So this is essentially how we convert new people into actual bookings. So, and essentially it comes down to 2 different conversation scripts, right? So you've got an inbound conversation script and you've got an outbound conversation script. Now you're probably like, Chris, well, I don't want to be doing outbound messages. Just wait, I'm going to show you what this means. So let me actually break it down for you, right? So the outbound DM script, right? So this is not you messaging 50 people a day or whatever crap that is. That's not what's happening, right? This starts when someone follows you on Instagram and from the ads or even organic reels, right? So you get a new follower from the ads or from the organic reels. So what you're going to do is you're going to use a step-by-step script to take them from someone who doesn't know you to someone who eventually knows you to someone who books a call with you. So what is going to happen is this new follower comes in and then you're going to push them through the script that you're going to have an appointment set to do. So you can do it. You can connect with them. So you're going to say, hey name, I appreciate you for following, and then add a little bit of a personalized line that your follower and that your appointment setter can do. Then you're essentially going to qualify them, right? So are you currently running a business right now? What's the goals for the new year? What's the goals for end of year? What do you feel like is missing at the moment? Obviously, this is a little bit more direct. You obviously want to add a little bit more rapport. But this is just something we built out. And then would you like any help with that, right? And this is kind of how you qualify to see if they need your help. Again, this is very, very short. You want to add a little bit more rapport. You don't want to feel like they're being sold. And you most likely want to, before you even go to qualify, you just want to push them to YouTube, right? The more you push them to YouTube, the more they're going to become nurtured. And then essentially, you want to convert them. So the offer is, this is what I had in mind. I might be able to help you. And then if you want, we could talk about it in this week. Here's my calendar. Let me me know when you book in so I can confirm it on my side real quick. So the biggest people in the space do this. You got Nick Setting does the exact same thing, right? They obviously are as discreet. So like they don't add a lot of rapport. They just like tell people to go ahead and book a call. But this is what everyone else is doing. So the inbound DMs, right? So this starts when somebody DMs you and you DM CTA. So let's say you in your DM, he says, DM me to start. Right? That is what a DM CTA is in your bio, right? So when somebody DMs you X, that's when the inbound script starts, right? So it's an inbound script that takes them from, okay, I can see you're interested to a booked call. Okay. So this is a lot easier. You don't need to be waiting because when they're DMing CTA, it's like, okay, look, I want to talk to you about it. Right. So then you can be a little bit more forward with it. You can set them a calendar link, or if you can see that they need a little bit more nurture, you can actually push them over to YouTube. Right. And then you can book a call with them on the chat. And as you can see here, they'll have a fully booked calendar just like this, and they'll be bringing in thousands of dollars every month, because of this exact same system that I'm breaking down for you, right? So this is essentially, this entire system right here is essentially, obviously we have a little bit more steps over here, but this is essentially exactly how you can build out a brand new coaching offer. If you don't have any followers, if you don't have any subscribers, if you don't have anything, you are just you. This is how I would do it. And this is exactly how you should do it in order to bring more people onto your coaching and to scale it to 10, 20, 30, 40, 100K per month. When you get to that 30K a month mark, that's when you start increasing spends. You start running these things like here, your VSL, your retargeting, things like that. And that just brings you and scales you way up to that 100K mark. Okay. So that's exactly how you can build a 100K a month coaching business from scratch without a big following or being an expert in scaling, offer creation, or info. And as you can see here, 7 booked calls in 1 week and then 12 calls the next week. So just under 20 calls booked in 20 days. So nearly a call booked every day. And that wasn't even from launch. From launch, we had about 19 calls booked in, I want to say 5 days. So we launched it, 12 calls booked and 7 calls booked. And as you can see here, I helped another team add just over $420,000 in revenue for this client here. So I know what I'm talking about. And listen, if you want some help scaling your coaching business or your info business to 100K per month in 2025, and you want a team of specialists and a growth partner to help you grow it, you can click the link below and book a call, or even you can DM me on Instagram if you have any questions and I can answer them for you there. And just a heads up, since we are growth partners, we aren't an agency, we really only have around 5 spots left. So if you want to act fast and you're optional to start growing your coaching business in the next few months, then again, book a call down below. And I'm free to have a chat with you where I can build everything out for you, a strategy for you for free, and we can chat about it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.